technologies are not requiring a lot of capital. I call it
we were flashing downstairs the conclave, but you know, it's get ready for something big, viewers, because the NDTV Profit Conclave is here, and it's all about the blueprint for Viksit Bharat at 2047. This isn't just another business event. It's where India's top minds in politics and industry meet to sketch out our path to becoming a developed nation by 2047. We'll explore and how this vision is shaping up across key sectors, emphasizing sustainable growth, governance, and crucially, the youth empowerment. Joining us to unpack this ambitious agenda are some esteemed guests who help us understand how India plans to turn these grand visions into reality. Let's get into it with my colleagues Alex Matthew as well as Mahima Vachhajani, who are setting up the stage.
Centenary year. This conclave will discuss the agenda for Viksit Bharat 2047. It's a national initiative that's focused on the 5 key pillars: economic growth, technological upgradation, infrastructure development, social empowerment, and sustainability.
The conference will highlight how this vision is being realized in important industries, highlighting India's commitment to long-term, meaningful growth and global leadership. The topics lined up for today range from manufacturing, disruption in technology, and of course the global buzzword, artificial intelligence, and how all of this ties in to present a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the Indian investor in the markets.
Absolutely. It's a power-packed lineup. So, let's kick things off. But first, a big thank you to our sponsors for facilitating this fantastic meeting of the minds. Presented by Pernod Ricard, co-presented by Shema General Insurance, banking partner SBI, co-powered by Share.Market by PhonePe, premium menswear partner Reed & Taylor, state partner Uttarakhand Government, summit partner Invest MP, and out-of-home advertising partner Lakshya Media Group.
And now for the first word of the day, please help me to welcome on stage Sanjay Pugalia, NDTV's editor-in-chief. Put your hands together, please.
Namaskar. Good morning and very, very warm welcome to you all for this NDTV Profit Conclave, which is themed on Viksit Bharat. Alex, तुमने मेरा काम आसान कर दिया कि क्या एजेंडा है, क्या थीम है और क्या क्या बातचीत होगी ये बताने के लिए। मुझे सिर्फ इसमें 1-2 बातें जोड़नी हैं जो आप हमसे ज़्यादा जानते हैं, लेकिन उसको रीआइटरेट कर देना बहुत ज़रूरी है। एक बात तो हमारे अपने बारे में, एनडीटीवी प्रॉफिट के बारे में, कि अब हम 7 चैनल्स इंक्लूडिंग एनडीटीवी वर्ल्ड, 7 चैनल्स और 15 वेबसाइट के प्लेटफॉर्म हो गए हैं, यानी एक बहुत बड़ा नेटवर्क हो गए हैं। उसमें एनडीटीवी प्रॉफिट का रीलॉन्च हुआ है। तो उसकी खास बात क्या है? उसकी खास बात यह है कि न तो ओल्ड लिंगो है, न ओल्ड जार्गन है, और ओल्ड ऑडियंसेस के बजाय बहुत तेजी से हम मूव कर गए हैं यंग ऑडियंस की तरफ। ऑडियंसेस हमारी ऐसी हैं जो इस वक्त ज़्यादातर लोग आप कह सकते हैं कि 18 से 45 साल के एज ग्रुप के हैं, जो मेजॉरिटी हैं। आपने देखा होगा कि जितने नए इन्वेस्टर्स इस वक्त बाजार में आ रहे हैं वो भी इसी डेमोग्राफी के हैं। जो पूरा एक मार्केट हमारा वाइडन हो रहा है, कैपिटल मार्केट, उसमें इन लोगों का बड़ा रोल है। और आप ये भी देख रहे हैं कि उनकी कंजम्पशन की हैबिट्स किस तरह की हो गई हैं, और उसको देखते हुए हम लोगों ने एनडीटीवी प्रॉफिट को इस तरीके से डिजाइन किया है जो यंग इंडिया से ज्यादा बात करे, डिजिटल लेड हो, और ओल्ड क्लीशेड एनालिसिस के बजाय, मैक्रो के बजाय आपको इतना माइक्रो गाइडेंस दे सके बाय वे ऑफ inviting esteemed guests, analysts, commentators and institutional investors included on the panel conversations, जो आपको बिल्कुल पैसा कमाने में सीधे सीधे मदद कर सके। तो डीजॉर्गेनाइज करना, यंग इंडिया से बात करना, और इस बात का ख्याल रखना कि दुनिया भर में डिसरप्शन कितने हैं। अब आप देखिए, जितना हम लोगों ने सोचा था, उसके बाद ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स जो बदली, अमेरिका में जो रिजीम चेंज हुआ, उसके बाद अनप्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी कितनी जबरदस्त है। लेकिन उस अनप्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी में नोटिस करने की क्या बात है? नोटिस करने की बात यह है कि मोदी लेड इंडिया एक न सिर्फ ब्राइट स्पॉट है, न सिर्फ सबसे तेज ग्रो करने वाली इकोनॉमी है, बल्कि पूरे ग्लोब को, पूरे डेमोक्रेटिक वर्ल्ड को एक सैनिटी और सस्टेनेबिलिटी और एक स्टेडी ग्रोथ की तरफ ले जाने का काम हमारा देश कर रहा है। आने वाले दिनों में ये बात ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आएगी जब आप एक तरफ ट्रंप टेंट्रम देखेंगे, उसके कारण अनप्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी होगी, टैरिफ वॉर होगा, न जाने क्या क्या होगा। लेकिन अब जो ग्रोथ के बेसिक फाउंडेशनल वर्क को कंप्लीट कर दिया गया है और ये बजट उसका इंडिकेशन आपको देता है कि हम किस तरह से एक ही डायरेक्शन में रहेंगे, स्टेडी डायरेक्शन में रहेंगे और वो अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन है। यही वजह है कि जब अब मार्केट अच्छा है, प्रॉफिट बुकिंग करके अगर एफपीआई यहां से एग्जिट कर रहा है तो इंडियंस बड़ी तादाद में आकर के मार्केट को डेप्थ दे रहे हैं, स्टेबिलिटी दे रहे हैं और अपवर्ड ट्रेजेक्ट्री दे रहे हैं। मुझे मालूम है कि पिछले दिनों मार्केट में जो डेवलपमेंट्स हुए हैं उसके कारण, ऊपर नीचे होने के कारण एक प्रकार की फिर से एंग्जाइटी है, फिर ये सोचना समझना है कि अब आगे क्या होगा वगैरह वगैरह। लेकिन हर गिरावट नए इन्वेस्टर के लिए, बनते हुए भारत के इन्वेस्टर के लिए तो अपॉर्चुनिटी है। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि जो पहले होता था कि एफपीआई आएगा जाएगा, उस पर भारत का कैपिटल मार्केट, इन्वेस्टमेंट क्लाइमेट और ग्रोथ ट्रेजेक्ट्री तय करेगी, उस हम्प से, उस बैरियर से हम पार कर चुके हैं। ये मुझे लगता है कि सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी और बड़ी बात है। ये विषय एक्सपर्ट लोगों के हैं, हम जर्नलिस्ट लोग हैं, एडिटोरियल लोग हैं, उनकी बातों को सुन करके आपको बताते हैं, तो इस पर मुझे आपको ज्यादा कुछ बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। लेकिन ये बताने की जरूरत है कि आज का दिन भर का जो हमारा लाइनअप है, फ्रॉम मिस्टर पीयूष गोयल टू ऑल द स्पीकर्स, हमको पक्का अंदाज है कि आज हमको बहुत उनके विजन से, उनके गाइडेंस से, जो पॉलिसी मेकर्स हैं उनकी बातों से काफी कुछ अंदाज मिलेगा, गाइडेंस मिलेगा, एक विजन डेवलप होगा आप लोगों के मन में, खुद के, हमारे एनडीटीवी प्रॉफिट के सारे दर्शकों के मन में, कि आने वाले दिनों में किन बातों का ध्यान रखें ताकि अपनी जो खुद की भी प्रॉस्पेरिटी की जर्नी है उसको हम आगे बढ़ा सकें। तो मैं एक बार आप सब लोगों का फिर से स्वागत करता हूं और एलेक्स को वापस बुलाता हूं।
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Let's kick things off with the first panel of the day. If there's one thing even market veterans are asking today, it is, market kya lag raha hai? Tezi kab aayegi? Right? And that's because it's been a rocky start to 2025. But the thing is, if you focus too long on that piece of the puzzle, you're likely to miss the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And that bigger picture is what we want our guests to paint for you today. Please join us in welcoming on stage market experts that have seen the reds and the greens and all the hues in between over the past several years. Rhythm Desai, MD and Chief Equity Strategist India, Morgan Stanley. Dinesh Thakkar, Chairman and MD, Angel One Limited. Ashish Chauhan, MD and CEO, NSE. Joining them on stage, my colleague and a market veteran himself, Neeraj Shah. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together on welcoming them on stage.
I'm here. Yeah. To the left, according. To the live audience who've tuned in right now on television and on social media platforms, thank you for tuning in. And to the audience out here at the venue as well, a loud round of applause for yourselves for taking the time out and participating in our first ever conclave. Now, from being counted as the least intelligent investor many years ago with a lot of handicaps to becoming the plank on which the Indian capital markets literally runs these days, the Indian retail investor has come a long way. Regulations, availability of options, awareness of the power of investing and compounding in equities have all helped. The question is, can the next 25 or 35 years be as dramatic in terms of a shift as the last 25 have been and arguably the last 5 years have been? And what do capital markets have in store for the Indian investor in 2025? As Alex said, even the veterans are asking, kya lagta hai? So let's try and answer those questions, all of them, over the next 30 minutes, with the panel starting from my left, Mr. Rhythm Desai of Morgan Stanley, Mr. Dinesh Thakkar of Angel One, and Mr. Ashish Chauhan of NSE. Gentlemen, all three of you, thank you so much for joining in. And can I start off? I'll start off in this order. Rhythm, we are going to get to the outlook ahead because Rhythm Desai has on a timely note written a note today which speaks about how equities are overlooking the good news. Did you time it with the panel today, Rhythm?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay. And we'll get to that as well. But can we start off, Rhythm, by talking about how you've seen the emergence of how Indian markets have come through in the last so many years? Because from a point of time when agar FI bechega, to market khatam, to the point of time now, as long as the DI is investing, we are in safe hands. We've come a long way.
See, Neeraj, I have to claim credit that I predicted this in 2015 when the Honorable Prime Minister paved the way for retirement funds to invest in Indian equities. And it was what I have called many times the 401k moment for India. The same thing had happened in the US in 1980 when Ronald Reagan allowed 401k plans, the equivalent of India's provident fund and pension funds, to invest in stocks. And what you got then was a 20-year bull market in America that only ended with the NASDAQ bubble. So this will also only end when we get a bubble. It will probably last longer than 20 years, starting from 2015, because we have a younger population than America. You know, by the time you got into the millennium, a lot of baby boomers in America started retiring. So they had to start withdrawing their funds. That's not happening in India for many, many years to come. So yeah, this is as predicted. It's par for the course, and it's got many more legs to go.
Okay, many more legs to go indeed. But the evolution to both of you, and I'll now go to my next speaker to my left, Mr. Thakkar. The evolution of how the markets have come has been quite dramatic, right? From shouting in the ring to screen-based trading, with regulations empowering it, exchanges playing such a vital part. We've come a long way.
Yeah, definitely, because I have seen all the phases. When I started my career, it was floor trading on the floor and all that, outcry system. And it was like a wild west. There was no regulation, no capital adequacy norm. If one broker defaults, it spills over the market. And markets were like very volatile, like going up 100%, 200% and coming down equally fast. So I think in some sense that Harshad Mehta scam gave us some kind of a sense of seriousness that we need a proper regulation in this market. And I know when this capital adequacy and all that were introduced, that time there was a big kind of like resistance from existing brokers. But we know that, okay, after all this kind of regulation came in, our market expanded. I remember in those days, BSE used to do volume of around 100, 150 crores. And by the time I think a government regulator decided that we need to bring in a modern system, NSE came into picture, and we saw a big jump in terms of volumes and penetration. And then came a Y2K kind of like phase in India, where lots of IT professionals started investing in India. But they were unable to understand how to really manage volatility of the market. We did not see as much penetration as we saw when digitization and digital India movement came. India Stack was very popular, UPI payment for stock market, and that gave a kind of like, I would say, access to tier 2, tier 3, where you saw a big surge. Like I'm talking about 2000 when there were just 20 lakh investors. And today, as we speak, we have around 18 crore demat holder.
Yeah, it's been stratospheric, if you will, the last 5 years in particular. Mr. Chauhan, a word on that as well, because you've seen this through multiple lens. And do you reckon, I mean, what to your mind has been one or two defining moments over the last 10, 15 years especially, when the pace of change has been very, very quick? And how do you see the next 5 to 10 years in terms of what exchanges would do to facilitate even deeper penetration of equities? And more importantly, even in terms of regulations, is there stuff that you anticipate will come in which could make the markets even stronger and better and safer?
I mean, I'll go back 30 years. As Dinesh Bhai said, he was on the floor side, I was on setting up the NSE side. It has been a sea change. Today, even those days when NSE was set up, it was a breath of fresh air. for the world, not only for India. And NSE was not only the screen-based automated exchange which became successful in India, but it was also the first screen-based automated stock exchange to become successful in the world. It changed Indian stock market, but it also changed India's IT. There was no IT project worth showing in India before that. There was one railway reservation framework which was for internal to railways. Otherwise, normal Indians had no access to computers which could actually change their lives. And I recall many of the current stars of IT industries. They used to bring their potential customers to show NSE that India can do it. And that's how
Sure.
Y2K and all those contracts came. Why I'm telling you this, it was the first public digital infrastructure of India. It was the first fintech of India. It was the first large IT setup in India of any type, right? So it changed India. NSE changed India in many, many ways. But what it did for stock market is amazing. That time, India's market capitalization in 94 when NSE started was around 4 lakh crore. Today it is 440 lakh crore, 110 times. And probably dollar terms also it's more than 60, 70 times. What it got, things actually when revolutions happen, you get to see them upfront and then they peter out. When evolutions happen, they happen slowly, but then suddenly they become fast. You know, they gather pace after some minimum critical mass is obtained.
Sure.
And that's what India's stock markets have happened because of NSE. That I think we can give a lot of credit to NSE in terms of automating things, in terms of the trading part, trading, clearing, settlement, risk management, ensuring the defaults don't happen and stuff. But more importantly, the corporate governance cleanup that has happened. When I joined the business or as a job in 91, getting annual report was a pleasure.
Sure.
Quarterly results, you guys keep on talking, or the sort of material events which you keep on talking on TV every day was not even a thing, right? And most of the time the companies will actually combine 2-3 years and give you the results after 2-3 years. From there to come here, we are now better than the best in corporate governance. For me, the trust of the investors, because many times we think the stock market's job is to allow you to trade, which it is. But the main job is to actually ensure that the corporate governance takes place in such a way that it is always in the interest of the minority shareholders. And I think today India is pretty much better than the best in the world in terms of protecting minority shareholders' right. I think that is where the confidence of individual investors, of institutional investors like America has a golden share. America has shares with extra rights.
Sure.
Which India doesn't provide. For me, that is the true protection for minority shareholders, which we actually don't talk because we are assuming that has to be hygiene. But if we don't have that, slowly, when profits are sort of available or one person with very little shareholding ends up making a lot of decisions, those rights actually will bring down the capital markets. And those are the things we need to watch out for in protecting our capital markets.
Okay. No, so I have a follow-up, by the way, but just a shameless plug here in terms of how proactiveness is happening. A very young researcher from NDTV of Profit recently filed a story about 10 days ago about how a company with hardly any employees and hardly any revenue has some 7,000-8,000 crores worth of market cap. And in about 4 days, we had SEBI come out and say that we are investigating this company as well. So some things are being taken. I urge you to actually read that story on our website too. But, okay, Mr. Chauhan, a follow-up now. What's expected next? AI, machine learning, a lot of things happening, right? What do Indian markets look forward to? You are at the right position to tell us what's to be anticipated in the next 5 years.
I mean, we have seen companies like, if you look back in 1970s, nobody thought a polyester company would become the largest company in India in 40 years' time, which it became. In 1993 or 94, a small IT company's IPO came. Nobody thought that IT is a thing. That issue failed. And today, it made many billionaires by accident because they were underwriters who were forced to actually subscribe, right? That company's name is Infosys. So, and then pharmaceuticals, Sun Pharma, Kotak Bank. You have seen the waves of newer and newer companies. Today, you have Swiggy and Zomato and Nykaa and so many more who have come, right?